Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. Today we are going through the content list for the Simpsons Tapped Out Rise of the Robots event, and basically we're going to be giving my thoughts, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on every single item, talking briefly about them, and at the end of this video I'm just going to kind of give my overall feelings of this update and how I'll give it a rating out of 10 basically. We'll do that. I guess that's probably the best way to sum it up. So, let's start off. Obviously, this update, in terms of the quest line and in terms of the structure and the theme, I think were very good. My only issue is the structure in Act 4 and the quest line in Act 3 and 4 is pretty bad. Well, not bad, but not great. It's disappointing considering what the event had done previously. So Act 1, 2, and 3 are very solid. Act 3's questline isn't great, but it's fine. It's mediocre. Act 4, though, is structurally a mess, and questline-wise is pretty bad too. So we're going to go through all the items, starting off with characters. First of all is Chief Homer. Now, at the very start of this event, when we first got the event, I made a little bit of a rant about Chief Homer because I think it should be a costume. Now, I still stand by this. I think this should be a costume, but in terms of this being a character, how much does it annoy me? Not too much. It is just a nitpick. I understand that they sort of justified it being a character in the quest line. They said that, yes, it's been turned into a robot or whatever. But the issue is it's quite an iconic, at least for me anyway, maybe not iconic, but a very memorable appearance of Homer's, and I think it would have made it such a great costume, and so I'm disappointed that it's not a costume. And on top of that, it's got Homer's voice, so if it is a robot, it's like Homer record voice bites for it. Do you know what I mean? I just think it should be a costume, personally. Whatever, it's a character. Let's move on. But overall, I think it's good for the most part. I just wish it was a costume. Then we have Frank Jr. I like Frank Jr. He's not anything amazing. It's not something that blows me out of the waters, but it's cool enough to have that sort of family completed now. We've got Frank, we've got Frank's wife, and we got Frank Jr. So I feel like the family's complete. So I'm glad at least on that part he's been added. The character itself, I think, is cool enough. He's not anything blow you out the water, but he's certainly not bad. Bestius Muncho, I think, was awesome. Pretty decent animations, great character, so massive thumbs up for that one. Robot Rumble announcers, despite them being fairly obscure sort of characters who, yeah, they had a few lines in the episode, I think what they did with them was fairly decent. Their animations aren't anything too special, but I like them for the most part, so I give them another thumbs up. Lovebot, bit generic, bit boring, nothing particularly exciting about the Lovebot. The questline was meh, the character I think is meh, the animations are a bit meh. Overall, probably the weakest of all the characters. Yeah, I'd probably say the weakest out of all the characters. We have Cyborg Willie. I think he looks awesome. I think his questline was fine. His animations are fine. The character, though, should be a costume. Now, especially considering we get Cyborg Bart in this update, why is Cyborg Willie a separate character? Why is this not a costume? And I swear this has something to do with the Tapped Out creators, because not wanting people to buy costumes, because I don't know, I've noticed this. Whenever we have a Guilds deal, it's always a character and something else. I swear a costume's never been added in a Guilds deal. Maybe it has, and I'm not remembering, but not recently anyway. I don't think there's been any costumes recently in a Guilds deal. I just think I don't really understand why it couldn't be added as a costume. It would have been fine, and you could maybe reduce the price of the Guilds deal considering it would be a costume. Yeah, that's my biggest critique with Cyborg Willie. Apart from that, it's cool as hell. Brenda, I love Brenda. I think she's a highlight for sure of this event. I think she's got some decent enough animations, decent enough quest line. My only issue with her is the combo she comes with. I don't think it makes any sense to add it with the Thai food factory, and there was plenty of buildings they could have given us instead. And then Carnage Destructus. I think he looks cool. His quest line's fine. His animations are a bit meh, but overall, good. So, yeah, I think the characters were very strong. There is a few weak ones here and there, but for the most part, they are very strong. So, let's move on to NPCs. So, oh god, this is an update that actually gave us NPCs. Now, we got an NPC in the very first update of the year, which was, of course, I forget its name. The one that added Mrs. Frank anyway. We got the Scream, was it the Parrot? Octoparrot, that's what it's called. And they decided to give us 2 more NPCs, and I'm so glad. So we got the Bear Robot, who I think is awesome, and Rafflecop, which is extra awesome. 2 awesome NPCs. I'm really glad that they are finally giving us some more NPCs. So these 2 get massive thumbs up. They're great. We got a costume, only 1 costume, which of course was Cyborg Bart. We should have got 3 and 2 less characters, but whatever. Yeah, I think this costume's cool. It's awesome. It's in a weak act, but I think it's the highlight of Act 4. So yeah, that one gets a thumbs up. Buildings. So what buildings did we get? Not tons, but a fair selection. So we obviously have the Prodigy Barn. I think this one's great. Or decent enough. I actually really like the style of this one. The Robot Rumble Studio, I think this is the best building in the update, in my opinion. I think it just looks awesome. I love having these sort of studios in the game, and I think this one just looks perfect. I'm glad they actually added this as a separate building, and because I guess it could be argued this was in Channel 6, I'm not sure. But yeah, I love this one. I think this is great. The best building in the update. The Springfield Robotics Laboratory, a bit bland, but certainly not bad. It's decent enough. Emma should be a decoration. I'm not a huge fan of this particular building. Robot Rumble Arena, I think this one is the worst. Now, granted, there is one good thing about this building, and that is the animation. So when you send characters to this building, there is a really, really cool animation where the 2 robots battle each other. Well, 2 of the robots battle each other in the arena. My biggest issue, my main biggest issue with this building is it shouldn't be a building, and it's an interior. Now, I know I'm probably going to be called a hypocrite here, because in my Robot Rumble event idea, I added this arena as a decoration, as like a part of the prize track, and that's true. But I was trying to make an event out of very little, because I was focusing it entirely on that episode, and B, I didn't envision it being this ugly. Like, I think it just doesn't look right to me. There's something about how they've designed it to make the 3D pop out. It just doesn't look right in the town. It looks better when the animation's in there, but I really just don't like it. It's my opinion. I know some people seem to love it, but I don't understand why people give it a pass. Like, it should be a decoration. It should be a decoration, and it should be designed better. I think if they went for a more of a... Because it's like head on, right? So this right here is like head on. It should be a bit more diagonal, because like this is and like this is. It should be more diagonal to give the 3D effect a bit more jazz. But I realized that maybe the animation didn't work as well, because if it was diagonal, you would have to diagonalize the robots as they're battling each other. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just easier to animate this way, and that's why it's like this. I just don't think it looks right, so I'm not a huge fan of it. Mr. Sparkle Factory, it felt like this was the basis of the building, and then they forgot to add in all like the little details. That's what it feels like. It just doesn't look like it's fully rendered. You know, it looks like there's more detail to be added. It's so bland and plain. Granted, I don't hate it. I just think that is very distracting. So yeah, and then the Thai Food Factory I think looks awesome. It's great. So the weakest buildings are the weakest one is definitely this, then Emma, then this. These 4 though are all great. This one especially is stellar. Actually, I'd say the Robot Laboratory is mediocre. So honestly, in terms of buildings, it's not the strongest of updates for buildings, but I certainly don't think it's bad. It's good. Moving on, we have decorations. So quite a lot of decorations, the first of which is the Chocobots. Now, they are a crowd, and I normally hate crowds. This one, though, I like. I think it's cool, so that one gets a thumbs up. The Robot Rumble Trophy. So I think this is a waste of a slot in the prize track. This might be something I'm going to heavy on more home, because I used to hammer heavy on the fact that tokens took up a prize track. Now I'm going my new crusade, my new mission is to critique when crappy decorations are given as a slot in the prize track, because this, if they really wanted to add it, chuck it in the store. You could make it 5 donuts, you could make it, 1,000 cash, you can make it what you want. Chuck it in the store. It doesn't deserve to be a part of the prize track. It's not cool enough of a decoration to be in the prize track. So that is my opinions on that. It should just be in the store. Doesn't make any sense why it's added as a part of the prize track. It's not a good enough prize. So that's my opinion on that. The award show enforcement bot is pretty cool. I mean, I actually really like this, because mainly the reason why I like this is because I'm going to use this for the Tapped Out Awards. It's the only reason why. But it's probably the least best out of all the robots, but I still like it. Smashiest Clay is cool. I don't understand why they renamed it. Obviously, it was called Kilhamid Ali, I think. Kilhamid Ali, and they renamed it to Smashiest Clay. If obviously you're not aware, Muhammad Ali's original name was Cassius Clay, so I think that's why they renamed it, but I don't understand why they renamed it. It just seems really odd. But apart from that, great decoration. Flanders car Flanders car Posse bot and the Simpsons car Posse bot. Now, I love both of these. They transform into these robots, or you can click them and they transform into Homer's car and Flanders' car. I think they're great. Buzz Cola, giant Buzz Cola can is pretty decent. I like this one. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm kind of like, I like to meh on that one. Then you have the ATM, the Squishy, and the Hot Dog Cooker bots. These were all added as separate prizes, and like I said in my Act 3 and 4 review, I'm not going to go too in depth about it. I think these should have been added as a bundle. Them taking a separate prize track each, slot in the prize track each, I don't think is good enough. I think not good enough, but you know what I mean? I think they should have just been a bundle. They shouldn't have taken separate slots in the prize track. Then we have the Killy the Killer Tractor. I like this one. Turns into a tractor and then turns into this. So, very cool. And then finally, you have the Human Foosball Table. This one I don't like. Just a decoration. I've got nowhere to put this. Like, what the hell am I going to put that thing? So, not a big fan of that one. So, overall, I think the decorations are fine to good. Fine to good. I don't think they're meh, and I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're great. There are certainly great ones. Like, I think these two are great. I think Smashiest Clay is great. I even think the award bot is great. I love the award bot. I don't care. And the chocolate bots are great. But these felt very underwhelming because they took a slot in the prize track, and I don't think they're good enough to do that. If they were a bundle, I would have been fine with them all. This, I don't think. The Buzz Cola thing, I don't think it's particularly amazing. It just felt a bit random. The Killybot, I think the Killybot's good, so I'll give that one props. The Foosball Table, there's a lot of like sort of meh to bad no bad decorations, but meh decorations, and that shouldn't have taken a slot either, that trophy. Moving on, normally I don't talk about this, and I feel like I really should, because this is a big part of the update, and I know that this can make or break an update for newer players or players who haven't got everything in the game. Now, for me, it's really hard because I have to research what's in the boxes, because I can't look myself because I've got everything in the game bar 1 or 2 items. So I never get access to these mystery boxes because I have everything. So I don't get to experience them, but I realize that they are important to a lot of people and they often make or break an update. So we're just going to briefly go through this mystery box, and I'll just kind of give my overall thoughts of what I think of the selection of items that were in this. So obviously you could get the tokens and then you could get that to unlock the mystery box, and these were the items in the mystery box. So we had the giant robot, the Mecha Hawk, the Mech Robot, the Skybadian Systems, the Newfangled Quickie Mart, the Pocology, Crypto Status Memorial, the Homer Dream House, the Itchy and Scratchy Bot, the Polyvac, the Future Simpsons House, Frank's Robot Dog, the Music Automatum, Bart's Moon Mansion, Domicile, Big Digiben, Astro House, Global Housing, Grief Counselor, Hovercopter, 3D Printer, and then we had the Mechanical Ants Bundle, so it had all the different ants in it. The Super Collider and Black Hole, the Epcot Center, Tomorrow's Costingtons, Office Towers, Mushroom Office Building, Simpsons Hovercar, Hollow Theatre, Future Dove Sign, Electric Cars Bundle, so a bunch of cars there, Mobile Dome, Vacation to Venus Sign, Parked Hovercar, Teleporter Billboard, Fountain of Tomorrow, and the Hover Street Sign. So lots of awesome stuff in there. My only criticism with these boxes is I think sometimes often like there's a few crappy prizes thrown in with great prizes. So the teleporter bundle for billboard, for example, which you can see here, it's listed in there as well. I don't know if that justifies being a prize on its own. I think what would be better is if they just did bundles. Like, I really like the idea of, obviously the Mechanical Ants bundle makes sense because it was I think it was a Gill Steel, wasn't it? But that makes sense because they came in a bundle. But like with this, for example, the Super Collider with the Black Hole, I think that's cool. Like, you're combining two things. And I think they should do the same with the billboard. They should just throw the billboard in with a building or another decoration or a group of decorations like the Electric Car Bundle. That's my only critique with these mystery boxes. So I would be so bummed out if I, paid whatever amount of donuts and I got a billboard. Like, I would not be happy. So that's my biggest critique of them, but I think for the most part there's a good selection of stuff. I'm disappointed the teleporters aren't in there, are they? There's the teleport billboard, but the actual teleporters themselves, I think that would be cool to be thrown in there as well. Maybe also a few more characters, because there doesn't appear to be very many characters in there. Mostly NPCs. I don't think any of them. Are any of them? Yeah, that's a bit crappy. Especially just buildings and NPCs. Yeah, I probably would throw in some characters, for sure. That's quite lackluster. Anyway, that is it for the event. So, there's my overall opinions of every item that we got, every new item, and briefly sort of going over the mystery box. I find it hard to judge the mystery box because, like I said, I don't experience it. But from now on, I'm going to try and just briefly go over it at the end of the content list. Overall, I think this update has been good. I think if I had to give it a score out of 10, I think I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10. I do think this update is very, very solid. There's just a few things here and there that I nitpicked, and I think Act 4 is a bit of a letdown for the update. I think it sort of went a bit downhill there. But apart from that, I think this update has been very awesome. It's been a pleasure to play. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I think it will be one that I remember for years to come. So anyway, tell me your thoughts on this update. What do you think overall? Tell me if you got everything in the update too. And stay tuned for more Tap videos whenever we get the next update. I imagine it will be a mini update, so I'm excited to see what they give us next. So thanks for watching, like I said, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.